Alright, so I should have the game stuff as well here now. I don't I don't know if I should be storing the IP address. Let me look up the laws on that real quick. Laws on storing IP addresses. IP Addresses and Data Protection Act. Let's go read things. Computers and other devices. What can be determined? The Data Protection Act regulates the collection and use of personal data. If data is not personal data, if it's not caught by the Act, but it's not always obvious. An IP address in isolation is not personal data because it is focused on a computer and not an individual. This reasoning was applied by the Privacy Commissioner in complaints about disclosure in 2007. In the hands of an ISP, an IP address becomes personal data when combined with other information that is held, which will include a customer's name and address. In the hands of a website operator, it can become personal data through user profiling. Most sites do not profile their users through IP address. They typically use IP address for demographic purposes such as countries and their choice of ISP. Their organizations might also be identifiable. Sites typically gather information about this. Most common privacy concerning is the use in marketing. Alright. It is hard to see how a collection of IP would bring within the scope of data protection. Static IPs are different, as with cookies. Dynamic or static are collected simply to analyze aggregate patterns of website. They are not necessarily personal data. They'll only become personal data if the website operator has other means of linking, perhaps through other information held or from information that's publicly available on the internet. How this affects your web operations. If you collect IP addresses and analyze them collectively, identifying the number, you should disclose that in your privacy policy. When you visit the site, we may automatically log to reassure visitors. If you wish to use IP addresses to identify or build a profile on each of your visitors as an individual, even if they are never identified by name, you should assume the Data Protection Act applies. Alright, so basically it depends on how we use it, which is really kind of shitty. Like in a legal sense, right? I mean, this is where you get into, problems that are actually pretty relevant today, and even in terms of stuff like Facebook, right? Like if I capture IP addresses of users in the telemetry system, and I don't intend to use them to make marketing, user profiles. I just want to know what your IP address is, so, I can, we could basically figure out if people in Holland are getting matched to servers in Oregon. Like, that's what we want it for. We can figure that out through other means, like ping and region settings and shit. But if in the future somebody gets a hold of the data that we have and uses that for other means, such as if we get hacked, or if, because I'm working with the Maelstrom guys, if the Maelstrom guys want to do this. Let me see. Does Maelstrom have a privacy policy? Let's boot it up and see what they actually have for privacy policy. This is what happens when you do server stuff. It's not good enough. Oh man, new stuff. Fuck yeah. Most players are in shark tears. We're working on treasure chest and boon jitter issues. Let's see. Question marks. Hide hints. Feedback. Options. Early access. Alright. I don't see anything in the game itself. Is there a properties for this? Developer, manual. Let's see if there's anything on their site for privacy. Contact, FAQ, press kit. Let's go to their store page and see if they've got anything. Hey, they got very positive reviews. Early access, recent updates, reviews, gameplay, system requirements. I like these. The negative reviews are always fun to read. They don't have a privacy policy. or a data collection policy or anything like that, do they? That's not a good thing to not have. Alright. Well, I will just make sure to post that we need a data collection policy. Alright, well, I'll keep it for now. So let's go to the game data tool and let's go ahead and run that over the last 24 hours and populate our local game data database. That's pretty awesome. So that data actually has only been from the last so many hours. That's excellent. Alright, so we loaded up all the information supposedly into our game session events. So let's see how many events we got. 77,000 events. Let's do event count. Group by event. So we have all the events, but let me think. For the game session events, we want stuff that actually had information here. So I think what we want to do is I guess I can just do some kind of little hacky crap in here and just What I should actually do is a hash set of stuff, so we're going to want to grab the game start, game end, level start, level end, match start, match end, player death, player join, player left, player rank, player tick. So we want all of those events pulled in. So we're just not going to grab every event ever. We're going to grab only the events we actually care about. Alright, so we're not going to grab everything. We'll just grab what we need. So let's actually... Alright, good. So we got all that data scrubbed out of there. So now I can do this guy. And let's snag all that data. Yeah, I was dreading that update. I thought stuff was gonna explode. Like, I really thought the Maelstrom Linux update was gonna be a real shit show. Like, stuff just because they're switching the entire operating system around. That's great. Like, the bugs are not getting. They're not reporting, like, horrible game drops and, like, all this other crap. It's real nice when stuff goes well. Jesus. And they pushed all that crap when I was dead asleep, too. So, I'm usually the guy who has to make sure everything actually works and go push everything through. So it's kind of nice to not have to be that person sometimes. Which is kind of funny because they basically pushed a giant nuclear bomb off the cliff, and it was supposed to land gently. We got the parachutes, but nobody had really tested those parachutes. 72,883 events. Awesome. So we've got all that sorted as well. Also, those telemetry servers I set up aren't exploding, which I should actually go take a look at. Make sure that they actually aren't exploding, because I haven't put any fucking alarms on them. Alright, GPT telemetry prod. Let's go to monitoring for that. CPU is holding good. Network in, network out is great. Network credit usage and balance is good. Packets in and out, excellent. I am thrilled. Okay, so we have our game data tool and our all events tool. Excellent. So what we should do now is we should create our heat map tool. So we change this to creating heat maps for Maelstrom. That's somebody might actually be interested in this who is not regularly a part of this channel. Because Maelstrom is a completely separate game from this that we've been working on. And this is data that, there are streamers that are actually streaming Maelstrom right now, playing that thing. And if they had the heat map, data, you can find things out that you don't always know. Okay, so what I need is what the positions. I need to know what our positions are going to be for this guy. So, why don't we run some experiments? Let's get the extents. Do we have a level on here? We not have level. Where's our level? We have level time. Get current level name. Add stir prop level. Alright, let's see if I actually ever added this. We didn't add level. Son of a bitch. Alright. Well, let's add it then. So, let's add it at the end. I mean, it is pretty important that we have that, actually. Alright, the size of the level, let's just do a 64. Alright, so we'll do that. Variable is null. What? It's because I got commas at the end of these things. Gets all upset. JSON actually has bugs with its JSON parsing. Alright, so let's drop both tables. And let's remake the tables. Excellent. So we've done that. Let's go back to our ETL system. And let's add them. So the all events needs to add the level. How big was that? 64? Excellent. So we got all events. Game data tool here. Come on now. Alright, so we got that hooked up. So, I'm gonna need to populate all my game data again. So let's go do that. While I'm doing that, Basically, I need to create a couple heat maps. One is a position heat map. One is a kill map. So that'll be a thing. So I just gotta wait for that guy to finish, and I can't really do too much with my computer while it's doing that. Finished. Excellent. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to see what levels we've got going on here. All right. So what exactly was I doing before with the heat map stuff? I was getting all the information, getting the X width. Basically, we've got all this data for everything here. We're just counting up totals. And I was writing to the image itself with our red value. I was scaling it. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to have these images, image data that I've got. So what sort of maps are we going to do? We're going to have a public static class, WD Maelstrom level. So we should have a public long and position map. Which is going to be so I'll have a position map and a kill map. Is there anything else that we want? We've got player ticks, player deaths, player joins. Well, it looks like everything's getting reported to the test environment and not the prod environment, which kind of sucks. Looks like the Linux servers are probably the ones doing that. Yeah. I'll write that down. So, telemetry data environment is wrong in production. Appears to just be game servers. Okay, so position map and kill map. Okay, so we should have an add event call, which is mail reports underscore game session event. It's meal reports. Okay, so what we want to do is switch on the event. I guess Boolean pull death. Need the event type, right? No, it's just if it's player death, then we'll add it to the heat map. let's get our bounds here. So we need the X, Y, and Z positions based on, we need the mins and maxes for all these things. So what? How is that? How is that selecting nothing? Select zpos where zpos does not equal null from this, but it's getting absolutely nothing. Just trying to get the extents of the map. Alright, so it looks like the max Y is 20,000. Max X is probably also 20,000. But min is negative 27,000, so maybe we got 30,000 here. Basically, we need to add a value in here. Right, so that should already be filled with zeros. So, basically we want to add, for the position map, so what X is going to be event.xpos. We want to go from negative 30,000 to blah, so it's going to be from 0 to, these are integers. So what is the operation? We want to go from negative 30,000 to that needs to be so negative 30,000 is going to be 0, so it's going to be what? So it's going to be x pos plus x minimum divided by that sort of thing. So alright, so we don't need z in here at all. So what other positions do we have? We've got kx, ky, and kz. So we've got dx, dy, dz. And this will be what? Player death map, so that's going to be death map. Let's look up our player kill. We don't have any player kill. It's player killed with an ED on the end. Let me see. Looks like we don't have any player killed events. All right. Alright, so that should give us those guys. So we'll have the max death values and all that. So if we go over all our events, we'll be able to collect all the information. Alright, so we have our max values, we have all this. We need to go through all the rows in the last hours or so. So let me see. Do we just load everything in? So what's our step for loading in data, right? Let me see if there's a good way to iterate. Alright, well, I can probably just do something simple then, right? Like, as in, I can just go over a certain time period each time. So we'll do a step at a time through the database and fetch everything we can. So why don't we have a time period? Why don't we just go every 10 minutes? db step time. Let's do 10L times 60L times 60L times 1000L. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just iterate over it. So basically, long start time equals system dot current time millis minus hours. That's 10 minutes. Alright, so we're going to get our steps. So long end time equals start time plus the db step time. And at the end of this, we're going to say start time equals end time plus 1. So what is our query going to be? It's going to be So we get from game session events prepared. So we're going to say where created, I guess reported. That's more what we want. Let me just see. Yeah, it looks like created's what I want. Alright, so we'll get that going. Alright. So we've grabbed all of the events, and what we need to do is also go through all of our levels. So we need an array list of our levels. So let's snag all those. So we want to make all of our levels here. And this IntelliSense for Eclipse is really shitting itself really bad today. So I'm gonna look, what is going on here? I mean, it just looks like Eclipse is... Yeah, let me just see. I'm just going to go ahead and close Eclipse here and see if I can boot it up with better stuff. Okay, so